Alma Razvanovic.
I'm Mika Mapes.
And I'm Adam Akum.
And you'll see Oliver later on in our show. And together we are...
Hanford Drama Documentary Crew. Yeah.
And now we're on stage. Typically, this is where all the backstage is, and this is where we do all the filming. I mean, acting. Okay. Yeah. Bikini bottom.
Hold. What's going on here?
So, how's the rehearsal process going?
Excuse me, I don't think you're supposed to.
Okay.
It's bananas.
That's fun.
3, 4!
Hello, I'm Alma Razvanovic, and I'm here with the director of SpongeBob the Musical.
Mr. Jones.
And today we are going to be interviewing Mr. Jones. To start off with, of all musicals, why did you choose SpongeBob the Musical?
Our drama program at Hanford is fairly unique. A lot of schools have a few talented kids, but we have many. And so we're always on the lookout for new shows that have a lot of great parts in them. And SpongeBob is a show that is fairly new, and it fits that bill. This show is just so much fun, but it also has a lot of heart. It's just kind of been the perfect show for us this year. When you think of SpongeBob, you think of the cartoon, right? Which is very crazy, colorful. Many would use the word annoying. And the stage show is not that. It speaks to the cartoon. It has little winks and nods to the cartoon. But I think the reason this show worked on Broadway and it works for community groups and schools is that you approach the characters as if they are real life people, not cartoon characters. The whole story centers around the people of Bikini Bottom coming together in a crisis. And I think that speaks to a lot of us. The whole goal for this show was not to be cartoon characters first, but to be genuine people with genuine emotions and genuine reactions, and then let the humor of what's happening dictate the comedy.
What responsibilities does it take to be a director of a musical?
Particularly when it comes to directing musicals, it's all about time management, organization, and trusting people to share in your vision.
Yeah.
I talk to designers, choreographer, costume designer about ideas, but then you reach a point where you just have to trust these amazing people to do it. And sometimes you have to think outside the box. You know, it just wasn't possible to translate what was in my head to what's in their head, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You can trust that they're still going to do something amazing, and they always do.
Thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for all your work.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hello, I'm Mika and I'm here with.
Taya Greenup.
And what is your job here?
I'm actually the stage manager.
What is your job in the booth?
My job is actually calling the show, which means that I sit up in the booth and I call the lights and I call the mics going on at each scene. I also call the props and movement backstage through a walkie-talkie.
What is it like working with the directors?
It is fantastic because this gives me a new light on the directors. Because yes, I've always been so fond of all the directors that I'm working with right now, but it makes it even better because I'm forming more of a relationship with them. It's nice to actually be part of a team with them instead of being like only taught things by them.
Thank you for letting me interview you.
Oh, of course.
Hello, my name is Adam Akum, and this is...
Natalie Hymas.
What is it like being the assistant stage manager?
I'd say it's a role that kind of ends up being every single role within the show. So I get to be part of the tech and actors, help out with everything.
What is the most challenging part about being the assistant stage manager?
when something goes wrong during a show and I have to make split-second decisions for the show.
Thank you for this interview.
You're so welcome, Adam.
Hello, Bikini Bottom! Hello, I'm Amr Zvanovic, and I'm here with
Kelsey Pontarolo.
and she is the choreographer of SpongeBob the Musical this year at Hanford High School. How do you come up with the choreography for all the dances in musicals?
I'll usually watch the show ahead of time just to get a little bit of inspiration, but I'll listen to the music and it's really weird because ideas just kind of pop into my head and I'll like feel things should happen at certain points, and then after those couple of points happen, you just kind of build off of that.
What responsibilities does it take to be a choreographer?
You know, a choreographer is responsible for a lot of the visual aspects of the show. And so it's not just the dancing or coming up with the dancing, but it's cleaning it, making sure it looks right, making sure that the cast is capable of doing what you want them to do. So if something doesn't look good, then it's your responsibility to change it and adapt it so that everybody looks good doing what they're supposed to be. And it's not even just the songs, you know, because it's all the visual aspect.
Thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for all your work here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course. Hello, I'm Amr Zvanovic, and I'm here with...
Dave Newmeyer.
And today we're going to be interviewing Dave Newmeyer about this whole set. How did you come up with the idea of this set?
You know, when the directors discover, you know, I think we're going to do this show this year, they usually get a hold of me and say, hey, you know, we'll start at a certain time. Oftentimes we start maybe the summer before. Say, okay, what are how do you see this show going on our stage? We have a different shaped stage than most places, and so we have to kind of figure out what works best for the audience. I have to say I love working with the director and designing things to start off with. I love it when we pull something off that seems like, how are we going to do that? And then we manage to pull it off.
Thank you so much for interviewing me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thank you for all your work.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Amr Zvanovic.
And I'm Joe Peterson.
Did you come up with the idea of this backdrop, or was it Mr. Jones?
Mr. Jones gave me an idea of what to do, and then he sent me off to do some sketches and stuff. So he had a base image, and he just had me like rearrange things and add stuff.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Adam Akum, and this is...
Ashlyn Burnett.
And she is a part of the SFX crew. What is the most rewarding part about being a part of the SFX crew?
I would say it's probably being able to make a lot of the cool effects of the show. The fog kind of brings the whole volcano scene to life, and also the bubbles make it happy.
If you were trained, how?
Me and Gregory, which is my partner for the sound special effects, we were trained by Mr. Landon. He trained us by showing us how to use the fog machines.
Thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for all of your work here.
Yeah, for sure.
Hello, I'm Mika Mapes, and I'm here with...
Scott Bay.
And we're going to be interviewing about specialty props. What's your favorite part about working on specialty props?
My favorite part is sort of working within a structure. So the director comes to me and says, this is what I want you to build. This is how I want it to function. And so I have my parameters laid out. And then after that, I get to be creative and figure out how to put a little bit of myself into each piece.
Where do you get your ideas and inspiration from for all these like specialty props?
Mr. Jones comes to me with a concept in mind. So he says, this is what I want and this is how I want it to function. One of the things that he said about this show was to use as much garbage material that like would sink to the bottom of the sea. And so I've been trying to find just like dollar store, cleaning supplies and kitchen materials and things like that. And so it's kind of fun to be able to go out into the store and say, this is what I'm building, and just imagine what I can create with whatever is available.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for all your work.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, I'm Oliver Ackerman, and who are you?
I'm Allie Rodenberg. I'm in the 10th grade, and I'm head of props.
What's the most challenging thing about this process?
Some items are more difficult to make than others. So sometimes you run into a complicated prop like the shell phones, and that's where the roadblock starts. It's just, where do I go with this?
Okay, so in your opinion, like, what's the most beneficial thing about this entire process? Like, why do you want to do it?
It's fun, and like being able to say, I got that stuff on stage, even though you personally are not on stage, so it doesn't have the appeal of being an actor. It is just fun knowing like that you got that there. It's like you have a billion different roles.
How do you prepare what you're going to do each day?
Recently I've been making note cards because it just kind of helps me in my brain separate out the tasks a little bit more. I've been handing them like 3 jobs for them to pick one from, and then I help them with the task. I explain it to them and then they go do it. So it's actually been a pretty helpful system.
Well, thank you for participating in this interview, and thank you for all your work.
No problem.
I'm Mika Mapes, and I'm here with.
Mrs. Sarah Landon.
And was your role here?
I'm the costumer for SpongeBob.
What is the most challenging part about being a costumer?
For this show, it is the extent and quantity of costumes that have to be created.
Where do you get your inspiration for your costumes?
Well, inspiration for this show has come from multiple places. From the Broadway show, for one. I do have some things that I looked up on Pinterest and the internet.
Thank you for letting me interview you and for all your work.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Almer Zonovic, and I'm here with
Jolene Greenaway, the hair and makeup lead.
What's the most challenging part that comes in with hair and makeup here?
Right now with the hair and makeup, because the Broadway musical was really outrageous, we're reining it back in, so it's kind of hard to draw the line of going overboard or not doing enough. And so right now that's what I'm struggling with, is finding that fine line where we have some fun and color but we don't go too crazy. So that's been the struggle. Probably one of the cool things is that, having worked with the costuming and the hair and makeup now, is a lot of the ideas for the show come directly from the kids, just off the cuff. They'll say, wouldn't it be fun if we did this? And you know, we get to thinking about it and then we agree, and so we make it happen. And so a lot of the looks that you see will probably be creative combinations of costumers, makeup people, and the actors and other performers as well. Just getting creative and kind of just going off the cuff and brainstorming ideas.
Thank you for letting me interview you, Mrs. Greenaway, and thank you for all your work here.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mika Mapes, and I'm here with
Sarah Staven.
And we are going to be talking about lights. Now, what's your favorite thing about working on lights?
My favorite thing about working with lights is really helping to shape emotional moments. It can affect our understanding and experience of a moment in ways that you may not notice or appreciate fully in the moment until you think about it. And then there's also the like really just spectacularly beautiful moments that really do make you go, oh wow. And I really love the artistry and ethereal moment and nature of lights.
What is the most challenging part about working on lights?
You're putting things together before the rest of the production is ready. You're planning out what your plot for where all the lights are going to be. You're doing that sometimes before the show is finished staging, so you're kind of assuming things and kind of working on your feet. That's kind of the beauty, is that you do get to change it up until that last minute to like hit that perfect angle to get that illumination. But I think that is one of the more difficult things about lighting, is that sometimes you're working with an incomplete picture, whereas like costumes and scenic, you can control all of those elements. Lighting is very much a response to what else is being put out there. It's a much more responsive design element.
Thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for all your work here.
Well, thank you. This has been wonderful. Thanks for asking.
Hello, I am Oliver Ackerman, and I'm here with
Jasmine Phillips.
So what is the most challenging part of this entire process?
In my opinion, trying to program the stuff. We program cues, which is just what lights are on and off.
Okay.
And we use that to light the show.
Thank you for letting us interview you. I'm Oliver Ackerman, and I'm here with
Jesse Smith.
And you are training the spotlights for SpongeBob, right?
That is indeed correct.
What's the process for training them?
So if we're training complete newbies, the first process is to, one, get them familiar with the show. It's obviously easier to light a show if you know what the show is about. They're watching the show right now, they're getting familiar with the scenes, and we also have them take notes on the script. We take notes for them, they take their own notes about, oh, we should probably spot this person here and there and yada yada yada. Anyways, once it comes time to actually spot them, we put them up in the catwalk with someone like myself, a more experienced spotlight, doing them, and they can watch and essentially just shadow what I'm doing. And then after that, we have them do their own sections, and then we just continue that until they're doing the full show, and I'm just standing on the side giving them tips and helping them and stuff like that.
So what's the most challenging thing about doing spotlights, teaching spotlights in general?
The most difficult part is judging the distance from you to the stage, especially since actors move around so much. You have to have really good muscle memory about how big you need to make a spotlight for anywhere on the stage.
Thank you!
You're so welcome.
Hello, my name is Adam Koom, and I'm here with
Aaron Poff.
And today we are going to be doing an interview on sound. How do you prepare for the sounds in musicals?
It takes a few different steps. The main thing is to get to know the musical a little bit better, understand how many microphones we have, who needs to be on when, who needs to be off, who's lead, who's not. It's a pretty good balance of tech and artistic value as well.
How do you plan each scene with sound?
It takes a lot of communication between myself and the directors, coordinating who is on stage, who's getting ready to come on stage, who's leaving the stage. Again, just making sure that those microphones are active and ready to go.
Thank you for letting us interview you, and thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Oliver Ackerman, and I'm here with...
Hussein Akoum, this production of SpongeBob's house manager.
So what exactly does a house manager do?
I am in charge of the ushers and the general escorting of the audience into the auditorium. I recruit the ushers, tell them their jobs, teach them their jobs, and then after that, I get to help the audience get in their seats.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for all you do here at Hanford Drama.
I want to say one more thing. Hopefully the people watching this really appreciate the hard work that the students who are making this documentary put into doing this, and what an awesome opportunity this is for everybody to just kind of see behind the scenes of how everything works, and I hope we continue to do this again and again.